everyone, this is Rebecca with Red True Crime for our, well, it's supposed to be bi-weekly Mobster Monday, but because today is St. Patrick's Day, and I did that one last week on Frank Lucas, I'm going ahead and do one early since it is St. Patrick's Day, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about the Irish mob, or figures from the Irish mob. So, did a little bit of research, and I came across one guy that I have never heard of. And I guess he was so good at what he did that in the end, he got to die a natural old death. And I don't know many gangsters who can actually say, yeah, I died in my sleep. So, at an old age for that. And he's one that was so good and so ruthless that people didn't even dare speak his name because they feared him so much. So, without further ado, let's talk about Owney Madden. So, he was a ruthless gangster that ruled Prohibition era New York. And again, he is that guy that you just never heard of. So, in New York City, roaring jazz, speakeasies, and the brutal world of organized crime, you had the shadows of Prohibition. And one man rose to power with an iron fist, and that is Owney Madden. Feared killer, ruthless businessman, and mastermind behind one of the most legendary nightclubs of all time. And like I said, I didn't even know this. But, so he went from basically an immigrant to a street gangster. Owen Owney Madden was born in Leeds, England in 1891. Now you're going to be like, Rebecca, wait a minute. That does not make him Irish. He was born in England. And I'm like, okay. So his parents are Irish immigrants. So yes, he was born in England, but he is still four-corner Irish because both of his parents were born and raised in Ireland. So he was born in Leeds, England, 1891, but his story doesn't really begin until his family immigrates to Hell's Kitchen, New York. So when they immigrated there, he was just a kid, and he quickly learned what it meant to survive by any means possible. By age 11, he'd already joined the Gophers, which was a notorious Irish street gang that ruled the west side of Hell's Kitchen. And with his natural charisma and ruthless streak, he quickly rose the ranks and earned a reputation of being a ruthless enforcer, fearless, and he was known for carrying 2 pistols and would use them without hesitation. So by the time he was in his late teens, Owney Madden had already left a trail of bodies in his wake, and his biggest rival was little Patsy Doyle. His biggest rival was a guy by the name of Little Patsy Doyle, and this person made the mistake of challenging Madden's authority. And what happened was Doyle was gunned down in broad daylight, with Madden himself suspected of ordering the hit. Now, that's the thing. He never got convicted of anything. Well, never got convicted of that. And it says here, despite the multiple arrests, he seemed untouchable. But in 1915, during a gang dispute, he was shot 11 times by rivals. Somehow he lived and was convicted of murder and sentenced to 10 years in Sing Sing. Now, Owney Madden was released from prison in 1923, just in time for Prohibition. He left the reckless street wars behind and turned his attention to the illegal liquor trade. Through violence, bribery, and strategic alliances, so he knew who he needed to work with, he became one of the most powerful bootleggers of New York. So people he worked with would be like Dutch Schultz, I'm trying to think, Meyer Lansky. These are people of that era, But he wasn't about bootlegging. He also understood the power of entertainment. He took control of the legendary, world-renowned Cotton Club, one of the hottest night spots in Harlem. And it became a hub for the city elite, featuring performances of like Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, just to name a few. And despite his success, he knew his reign wasn't going to last forever. And with the rise of the Italian mafia, led by figures like Lucky Luciano, that threatened what he had been doing. So rather than go to war, Madden made a strategic move. He stepped back. In the 1930s, he left New York and relocated to Hot Springs, Arkansas, a small town with big connections to organized crime. If I'm not mistaken, I think Arkansas is one of those places where they send people that are in the witness protection program. That's just one of the no-name places. So, and in Hot Springs, Madden became a respected figure, controlling illegal gambling operations and maintaining influence over local politicians. So it's not like he changed anything about what he was doing in life. I mean, he still did what he did, just in a much more low-key place where he had less people threatening his livelihood or his life. Like I said, it was very interesting reading up on him because, like I said, I had no idea that he even existed. Because at that time, you're talking about Dutch Schultz, you're talking about Lucky Luciano, you're talking about Meyer Lansky, all these people that are the names of that time. And these are people who did not want to lose that notoriety, who wanted to be those people, and literally live their lives on that line, being threatened daily. So, that's just one good thing about him, that, he was able to do what he needed to do. So, but unlike his contemporaries, who met violent ends, he lived a relatively quiet life until his death in 1965. So he met a woman in New York. When he decided to step back, they moved to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and he lived his life. Not many people in his line of work get to do that. So yeah, he was born in 1891. I want to make sure the date on that. Yeah, 1891, and lived until 1965. So that would have made him, let's do math here, Rebecca. Let's see, 9. You've been like 74? That's almost unheard of in gangster world. Gangster math at that. So, Owney Madden's story is one of survival, brutality, and reinvention. From a teenage killer in Hell's Kitchen to one of the most influential crime bosses of Prohibition. He shaped the underworld in ways few could imagine. And he's not well known, not as like Al Capone or like Luciano, but make no mistake, Owney Madden was one of the most dangerous men of his time. So, that is the story of Owney Madden. And I'll have a picture up in this. But, thanks for watching. And if you enjoy this deep dive into gangster history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know who you'd like me to cover next. Because, today, again, like I said, it is St. Patrick's Day, so got to owe it up to the Irish. I mean, everybody knows about Whitey Bulger. I could have gone with Whitey Bulger, but why give more spotlight on somebody who's well-known? Let's go for somebody who's a little bit above the unknown. Just like why I did George Remus. Nobody really knew about him, thought he was fictional. Frank Lucas is a little bit of a different story, but Owney Madden didn't know he existed, and this is the way he wanted it. He wanted to be respected. He wanted to be feared. He did not want to be known. And he got his wish. He really did. I mean, like I said, how many of those guys in that era could say, yeah, I got to live until I stopped breathing naturally in my bed in my 70s? Nobody gets to say that. I mean, very few get to say that. So, like I said again, subscribe, like, share, comment. And I'm going to end this with my usual saying of be weird, be rude, be safe. Because if you're weird and rude, they won't take you. I guarantee it. And, like I said, I'll go back to doing these every other week. But like I said, happy St. Patrick's Day. And thank you for tuning in. Bye.